The Japanese are really curious people, and we have taken the opera really seriously. And yesterday, in the Biwako Hall, it's a marvelous music and performance hall on the side of the Biwako Lake, which is the largest lake in Japan. Biwako Hall, they performed the Gotterdammerung by Richard Wagner yesterday. And the extraordinary thing is that there were no audiences due to the public health circumstances today. And instead, they live streamed the whole performance on YouTube, and more than 10,000 people watched the performance, which was marvelous. I watched, and at the end, Brunhilde threw herself into the fire, and the waters of the Rhine swelled to engulf everything from the ring, Hagen, and three daughters of the Rhine. And the ending was marvelous, and there was no applause because there were no audiences. There was no applause. But the singers and conductors and directors, they came out on stage, and they bowed, and as if there were audiences. There was no audience in the auditorium, but of course tens of thousands of people were watching online, including myself. So that was a really wonderful statement on the powers of art in a difficult time when people, lack the entertainment for the soul, because many music and performance events are being cancelled. People have this feeling that we are kind of in a fatigue, because of this situation. And these people, these wonderful people, went out to perform the opera. It's a huge piece of work. The guitar, it takes a lot of work, energy to prepare for it, and the performance almost cancelled because it was impossible to, have a performance in these circumstances. But they had this courageous decision to go ahead with the performance and live stream it, and I think the result was something, approaching a miracle in those times, and to testify for the healing power of the earth again, and to kind of come together to celebrate the powers of music and the true human nature is depicted in this great work, Die Gotterdammerung. So, as I said, the Japanese are really curious people, and of course, opera was born in Europe. It was not a part of a Japanese culture, but now we have come to this stage that we can, stage an original production, and the majority of the singers were Japanese singers, and because in Japan we don't have that many opportunities to perform operas, let alone Die Gotterdammerung, which is a huge, gigantic opera, and the budget is also huge. So we don't have that many opportunity to stage an original production. But when we do that, the Japanese are really, really serious about doing the best to produce the best of the best. And so for the singers and staff, yesterday's performance was, I think, a culmination of long hours of preparations, and which almost ended in tears because of the possible cancellation of the performance. But the fact that they could perform it without any audience, but with lots of people watching online, was, I think, a new era. It opened a new doors for a whole range of possibilities in the future to support this really wonderful form of art, the opera, in Japan. So I was moved. Maybe you can trace some remnants of the yesterday's performance, and more importantly, today they're gonna perform again because in many operas in Japan, they have double cast. They cast A, cast two, which is unusual by European or American standards. But this has been a custom in Japan because of opportunities for performing opera like Die Gotterdammerung is very few. So the Japanese singers and musicians have nurtured this culture where they share the opportunity to sing in such a magnificent production. So they have Cast A, Cast B. So Cast A performed yesterday, and Cast B they're gonna perform today, and they're gonna live stream again. So check out the Biwako Hall website. They would have information on the live performance to be broadcast on YouTube today of this wonderful Gotterdammerung production. So I was moved, and I myself is kind of in a fatigue condition, as many people in the world are today, because of this situation. So I'm really glad that I watched the Gotterdammerung, and I'm sure many people would watch it today again. So congratulations to those people who were responsible for bringing out this wonderful performance, and to confirm that we humans have this opportunity and spirit to just do it under any circumstances.